you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you to the organizers. Thank you to all of the speakers that have come before me. It's been really fun and inspirational. And I want to give a special shout out and thank you to my good friend Stuart, who's here from out of town. Stuart, I know you've traveled a long distance to be here, and I wouldn't be here if not for you. So thank you so much. For the rest of you, Stuart is a powerfully magical dragon. Yes, a dragon. And like all dragons, Stuart can, of course, he can breathe fire. And stop showing off, Stuart. He can shape shift, which is why he's able to fit inside the tent, which is really helpful. And he also controls the weather. So, Stuart, thank you for what you've done here. This is lovely. A lot of you seem skeptical about Stuart. And that's okay. That's good. It's difficult to believe in things that we can't see. I get it. And we've been here all week talking about thinking differently, and Professor Bauman was talking about feeling differently, but I want to convince you that there is great value in believing differently, that through your beliefs, you can become a healthier, happier, more powerful, and effective version of yourselves. Sounds good, right? But to do this, I need you to come on a journey with me to a time in my life when I also did not believe in Stuart. So we're going in the Wayback Machine. Come along. Going way back to 1994. I'm 8 years old. I live in Minnetonka, Minnesota. And I live in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood, in a Jewish home, emphasis on the ish. And the full extent of my Jewish experience is that every Sunday I go to Sunday school for 3 hours and learn about the Torah. And when I come home from Sunday school, my parents ask me, David, what did you learn today? And I tell them about Noah and the flood and the ark and the animals 2 by 2. And they ask me what I think about that. And I tell them that I think it's all made up, that I don't believe any of it. And they ask why. And I tell them, well, Danny told me that his brother told him that in the Torah there's a list of all the animals that got on the ark. And he saw the list and there's no kangaroos. And I watch Animal Planet, and I know that in Australia there's a lot of kangaroos, and I want to know where they came from. And my parents' response is the same every time. David, we're glad that you're asking questions. So, like a good little Jewish boy, I ask a lot of questions, incessantly to the point of annoyance. And as I grow, I develop an obsession with logic and reason and proof. And as I ask questions about God and religion, I never get any satisfactory answers. And so I decide that I must become an atheist. And remember, we're in Minnetonka, Minnesota. Most of my peers are Christian. And I am not a quiet atheist. I like to have conversations about my beliefs. And many of my peers are just as outspoken about their beliefs as I am about mine, and it makes it difficult for me to connect with others. But fortunately, I discover a group of friends who share my obsession with logic and reason, and we play chess together, and we have sleepovers where we talk about aliens, and we get to high school and we're adopted by some of the most popular kids in the entire marching band. And life is good. It's very good. I study hard, I get good grades, and I get into Harvard. And when I get to Harvard, my world expands exponentially. Because at Harvard, all of the freshmen eat in one large dining hall together, and I eat with different people every day. And because I ask a lot of questions, I learn a lot about my peers and about their lives back home, and it shocks me. One classmate grew up on the south side of Chicago, and he was the valedictorian of his class. But his friends are still there, and they're in gangs or in jail or dead. And another classmate from China, she is the one child in her family, but she feels like she will never, ever live up to her parents' expectations because they told her that they only wanted a boy. And another classmate from Iraq, his family lives in crushing poverty. They don't know when they will eat next or where they will sleep tonight. And I realize that my life has been uniquely privileged, that I have been living in a bubble, and that the real problems of the world are so much larger than I could ever conceive, and it really, really bums me out. And I don't know what to do. But then one day, I discover a class called Positive Psychology. And Positive Psych gets me really excited about the world, and it gets me really excited about psychology. So then I take a class called abnormal psychology, and abnormal psych teaches me that I have at least 5 psychiatric disorders. And chief among those disorders is crushing depression. And I feel helpless and hopeless, and I don't know what to think. And then I discover a philosophy called nihilism. And if you look up nihilism in the dictionary, it says it is the rejection of all religious and moral principles, or alternately, the belief that there is no meaning. But my friend who explains it to me has a slightly different take on things, and he has this tool he calls the circle of knowledge, and it goes like this. We're born and we know nothing. And then as we learn things, we know more about the world. So we learn more and we know more and we learn more and we know more until we've learned so much and we know so much that we begin to feel that we know everything. So here I am, world. I'm 21 years old. I'm an adult, and I know what I need to know about this world. I know that it's a terrible, horrible, unfeeling place and that there's nothing I can do to change it, and I should just quit. Boo indeed. But then one day, I learned something that contradicts a thing I knew before, for sure. So now we've learned more, but we know less. And we learn more, and we know less, and we learn more, and we know less, until we've learned so much, and we know so little that finally we realize that really, we know nothing, Jon Snow. And of course, I'm still asking questions, and the new question now is, if the burden of proof is removed, if I can't know anything for certain, what should I believe? So I decide I'm going to start trying on different beliefs and see what works for me. And I try a lot of beliefs, including some that are very unorthodox. I spend an entire week living as if I'm in the Matrix. And as it turns out, nothing changes, because we wouldn't know, would we? And then I discover Solipsism, which is the idea that I am the only thing that is real and everything else is just an illusion. I don't recommend that one. That's not very healthy. And I keep exploring and trying things on and seeking what works for me, and then one day I discover yoga. And the core tenet, or one of the core tenets of yoga, is that we all have a soul, and the soul has lived for 1 billion years before and will live for 1 billion more. And that when I die, my soul will live on, and that helps me to overcome my fear of death. And tied up with this belief in reincarnation is the law of karma. And karma says that the soul chooses to be embodied on this earth to do good things for others. And each time we do something good, it burns off some bad karma from our past lives. And as we burn off our karma, we improve our chances for a good life in the future. So even if I can't fix all the problems of this world, at least I can burn off a lot of karma and improve my stake for the next life. And that helps me to feel purpose, a mission. So now when I meet a person and there's this connection, a spark between us, and I feel like we're on the same team, I can say, "It's so nice to meet you again." And you say, "But we've never met before." And I say, "No, not in this life, not in these bodies, but our spirits know each other. We've been friends before and we'll be friends again starting right now." And you can say, "Oh, okay." Sounds great to me. And it's amazing how easily now I connect with everybody. And not just with humans, with animals too, because animals have souls just like ours. And in fact, all of us have been animals before, some of us very recently. Like, have you ever met a person that just is literally a horse? Or a mouse? And you're chuckling because you know these people. These are real people that you know. They say that dogs look like their owners, but I think owners look like their dogs. And I have learned that it can be very powerful to channel these animal energies intentionally. So if I'm ever feeling sad, I simply become a puppy, because the puppy is impervious to sadness. So when that depression creeps in, I close my eyes and I take a breath, and I become the puppy. Oh my God. Oh my God, there's so many people here. I can smell so many things. The world is bright and magical, and I don't even know what sadness is. I can't conceptualize it. But of course, the puppy's energy is not always appropriate. Sometimes when I need to be focused and effective, I become the eagle. And the eagle soars at 10,000 feet, and I can see everything. I see the big picture. And when I set my sights on a goal below me and I dive at 200 miles per hour, nothing can stand in my way, not even the 2 final projects that are both due tomorrow. Literally, actually. Because the eagle doesn't feel like procrastinating. The eagle gets it done. And this brings us back to Stuart. We didn't forget about you, Stuart. The reason I'm able to stand here on this stage today with so much confidence without even one shred of nerves is because I am Stuart. I don't have any fear because I know that I am magical, and I haven't let his energy show through, but now I'll let you see my giant dragon wings and the fire in my eyes. I'm full of magic. I'm huge. I'm powerful. Nothing can stand in my way. So some of you are thinking and asking yourselves, is this guy out of his mind, actually? Is one of the psychiatric disorders? I don't know. And that's good. I'm glad that you're asking questions. And I hope that you keep asking questions. Ask of the world, what is possible? Ask of your loved ones, what are your hopes and your dreams? Ask of yourself, are my beliefs serving me? And if the answer is no, I have great news for you. You can believe whatever you want to believe. There is a Stuart for each of us. And I'm not saying that you should believe in karma and reincarnation and magical dragons. Probably not. However, you won't discover what works for you until you start searching and seeking and trying things on. So, when you get home tonight, close your eyes, take a breath, and begin searching for your Stuart. And when you find it, I would love to hear about it. Thank you.